The year was 1936, and in Harlem, New York City, an African-American U.S. postal worker by the name of Victor Green put out the first edition of the Negro Motorist Green Book, an essential guide that listed businesses of all kinds across the country that welcomed black travelers during the discriminatory era of Jim Crow laws.
With the Green Book, my dad found what was the first place that he could stay between New Orleans and the end of the drive for that first day.
The guide, deemed the Bible for black travel, was literally a lifesaver, especially since there were more than 10,000 so-called sundown towns across the U.S., where non-whites had to leave the city limits by dusk.
Say you were driving Route 66 from Chicago to L.A., half of the counties along Route 66 were sundown towns. So you really needed a guide. You needed something to make sure that if you only had so many miles, you only had so many hours until the sun went down, you needed to make sure that you had a safe place to sleep and a place to eat.
Candace Taylor is an expert on the Green Book and its extraordinary legacy. She's researched and visited hundreds of Green Book businesses, many in Los Angeles. The Biltmore Hotel was one of 224 Green Book businesses here in Los Angeles. This glamorous property not only welcomed people of color to stay here, but it also hosted various African-American events, including the historic steak dinner for 1,100 people, which honored Leon G. Washington as one of the nation's greatest civil rights pioneers. The final Green Book was published in 1966 with high hopes that this type of guide would never be needed again. The year is 2016, and in Tampa, Florida, a black man was denied multiple times by an Airbnb host in Idaho, even though his white friend was immediately approved for the same dates. Rohan Gilk's experience led to a flood of similar stories from others, and the hashtag Airbnb while black was born. Gilks took action by launching an alternative to the short-term rental platform Airbnb. He and Zakiya Meyer co-founded Inclusive.com, where the motto is, be yourself.
Inclusive certainly is the motto of the Green Book. We tell you to come in, we have safe places, we have people that are welcoming and inclusive of all. You're going to be treated with dignity and respect.
After coming under intense fire on November 1st, Airbnb initiated new policies to combat discrimination. All hosts must now agree to the community commitment, which prevents them from declining a guest based on things like race, ethnicity, religion, and sexual orientation. It's progress toward a long-standing goal of tolerance and acceptance in this country that still hasn't been reached. But heightened awareness of the issues could finally bring about meaningful change.
Now that the lens is redirected and focused on, say, hey, we have a problem, we need to fix it, I think is really hopeful.
Hopeful, just as Victor Green was when he wrote, "There will be a day sometime in the near future when this guide will not have to be published. That is when we as a race will have equal opportunities and privileges in the United States." May Lee, CCTV, Los Angeles.